I've been doing a lot of inner work over the past year, and the more shifting I do, the more I come back to myself. So over the last, well, I'm 30, I'll be 36 this year, okay? So over the past 35, 36 years, I've had a lot of programs and beliefs really like projected onto me, and I have picked up over the years. And most of these beliefs do not serve me, right? They do not serve my best, highest, and best good. And what I'm learning is that as I shift through and really like strip off these old belief systems, things like I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as X, Y, and Z, I'm not as good as her because of the way that she looks, or I'm not as good as him because of how much money he makes, all of this stuff. The more I strip off these belief systems, the more I come back to myself, come back to my true, authentic self. And I do this work partly because it feels amazing and partly because it's my job. So I am a breakthrough coach, I'm a breakthrough specialist, and I help people really strip off their old belief systems that no longer serve them. And of course, I want to test it before I use it on others, right? Because it's just so exciting and it's so awesome. And there's a couple of people, a couple of my colleagues here. So shout out to my coach colleagues. I know how much work you guys are doing to really come back to your true, authentic self. And the more I come back to myself, the more I kind of fall in love with myself, right? And I don't mean that in like a cheesy, like egotistical, check me out, insecure way. I mean it in a authentic, compassionate, kind way. There is a quote by Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is famous music producer. He produced Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff like that. And he says that ego is just dressed up insecurities, right? Ego is just dressed up insecurities. So when we observe someone who appears to be, full of themselves, or we get a vibe that there's something not quite right with how they feel about themselves, usually it involves like a wall or a front, or they're trying too hard, or whatever it is. And that's not the kind of love I'm talking about. That's not authentic self-love. Authentic self-love is compassion and kindness, patience and respect for yourself. And as women, we get taught to do the opposite. We get taught to give, and self-sacrifice and self-sabotage and put everyone else before us, and that we're not good enough and we need to look like this or behave like this or do this and do that. And it's really about stripping it all back, coming back to ourselves. Because when we do this, not only are we setting a standard, not only are we setting the tone for others, right? We're setting an example. If I treat myself with compassion and respect and love, then I will expect that same compassion and respect and love from other people, right? But also, I allow others to feel the same way about themselves, right? I'll take an example of my two nieces, right? One is 10 and one is 13. And when I beat up on myself, when I talk to myself in a way that's mean, nasty, I call myself stupid, I call myself an idiot, they observe that, right? And they say, well, that's Auntie Iona, that's how she, how it is, she is. We look up to her, we respect her, we're going to do that. Okay. And then they start calling themselves idiots and calling themselves stupid. And I see that and I'm like, that breaks my heart. Like, that's not, I would never ever call them stupid. I would never ever, that's just not the way that I would talk to them, or that's not the way that I feel about them, right? I love them unconditionally with all of my heart, and I treat them with patience and I treat them with kindness and compassion, right? Because they're little girls, like they're so beautiful, they're such amazing beings, right? So if I treat myself with compassion and kindness and sovereignty and listen to my instincts and go make decisions based on how I feel about them, then they observe that, don't they? They observe that and they go, ah, oh, cool. That's how Auntie Iona, that's how she lives her life. So maybe I'll do the same. Maybe I'll treat myself with a little bit more kindness. Maybe I'll, follow my instincts, trust my gut. Maybe I'll treat myself with some compassion, and maybe I'll be patient with myself. Next time I'm trying to do my maths homework and I get it, I make a mistake, instead of being like, oh, I'm an idiot, maybe I'll go, oh, it's okay. I'm just, I'm a human being. I can erase the answer and try it again with patience. It feels so good. It honestly, like, as soon as we start to come back to our authentic selves, it's like, it's like instant relief, right? All of the stuff, all of the stories and stuff and the beliefs that we have heard over the past X amount of years, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, how many years, we kind of go, that wasn't mine, was it? Like that stuff that we picked up, that wasn't mine. It doesn't feel good. So I'm gonna come back to myself.